It's Nolan.
6 times for the kids like me who got ADHD.
Hey, hold up, nigga, I'm ready for combat. The bomb strapped in a hard hat, the helicopter retard Mac, dressed all black, prepared to stomp rap. Niggas the false flag, I'm mashed up like Rorschach. Whoa, niggas keep my name in their mouth, cause I reign in the drought, and they flame getting doused. Got money coming in, new exchange in accounts, while they saving the change in accounts. Motherfucker, I'm the GOAT, the greatest nigga y'all ain't heard. I'm a true barbarian, I violate words. Used to holla at a broad, I was always curved. Now they knocking at my door with nothing on but a fur. This last year been a wonderful blur, I can't process. Came a long way from the projects, looking at it, rolly did away with the time X. I done upgraded, now I'm reporting the progress. Fuck the world, I done fucked your girl. I done got up in the oyster and sucked the pearl. It's on me, nigga, die slowly, leave it with a slow leak. Either you better survive, you can bet he don't speak. Cooking up a show, don't nothing come free. They ain't talking about money, they don't really want me. I be in the field where the shit get real, walk through it barefoot, you niggas get cold feet. I'm done with being broke, home income low. This rap shit don't work, dog, send me the coke, to send me the tokens. I'd have been infinitely dope, I ghost write lyrics with spoken pen is a joke. I don't really need a reason to boast, cause I wrote y'all. Hit them with the bars, you bitches won't get a phone call. So far gone, got me feeling like Drizzy, better check, get me right like this. Who is he? I'm Nolan, the best kept secret in the A. Niggas say they got the hunger, let me feed them with the K. This a mini figure say, I don't need a VMA. I don't fight on nobody, they can lead you to a grave. Looking in the mirror, I spotted a few graves, but I'm something mad niggas, I'm hotter than butane. Like, one time for my niggas doing contests, 2 times for the homies in the projects, 3 times for the artists on the grind, making moves unsigned, saying fuck a major outlet, 4 times for the labels that ain't call me, 5 times for my ex, though she sucked.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. As everyone should know, if you clicked on this video, this is going to be my official assessment and review of the new Eminem album, The Death of Slim Shady. Now, let me go ahead and say, if you do not like Eminem, if you do not want to engage with Eminem content, I'm going to give you a couple seconds. You can hop up out of here, and it's all love and respect. And I make this a point to put this disclaimer at the top of any Eminem videos because I do understand that M is a polarizing figure. He's definitely said some things that I don't always agree with, some things that I wish he probably wouldn't have said. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where that division lies, where it's like people that just have a hard line of fuck Eminem. There's some people that are indifferent about his existence, and there's a lot of people out there that absolutely love everything he does and feel like all critiques against him or just critiques on his art or his technique or his wordplay or anything that he does are out of bounds. So I'm pretty sure this video is probably gonna ruffle at least one, if not all of those different communities' feathers, because there's a lot to unpack on this album. I'm not going to do a complete deep dive, but I am going to give you the high level review of what I thought of the records, some of the quotes, some of what was said, and just my overall assessment of this album of a Slim Shady return for 2024. Now, I will say, when I talked about Houdini, and I said, man, who the hell asked for Slim Shady to come back? Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted this. There were quite a few people in the comments that actually came and corrected me. I'm not beyond correction. I'm not beyond reproach, I guess you could say. So there was definitely some Eminem fans that have said, hey, Jay, as a matter of fact, we've been asking for the return of Slim Shady for some time now. We wanted another Slim Shady album. We want to close the chapter. You know, the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem Show, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Encore, Curtain Call, all that good shit, right? Those early to mid 2000s albums where Slim Shady was a thing. And then going into some of his later content coming back in 2009, there wasn't so much shady content, right? It was still shady. It was still punchlines. It was still pop culture references, but it wasn't the crutch that M was leaning on. So I think a lot of people did want that. I didn't. Personally, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I didn't want that. But I had to understand and accept that I do not speak for everyone. And that's something that I've had to accept, period, on my channel, which I've had to lean into as well, to say I speak for myself. If you disagree with my opinion, it's okay. All right. Now, let's get into the actual album, shall we? So we start off with Renaissance. And notably, when you play Renaissance, you see that Eminem's cadence is noticeably different than his most recent releases. His cadence, the little accent, some people may call it a black scent. I don't feel like it was a black scent, but it was a certain way he used to rap in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was honestly, as an Eminem fan, you kind of fell in love or grew accustomed to that cadence, right? And the easiest way that I could describe it for people that don't know what I mean by cadence or delivery and things like that, being that I am a rapper, y'all saw that at the top of the video. So at one point, and I'm just going to use syllables so that you hear what I'm talking about, not actual words, right? So you'll hear him go, you know what I'm saying? And he uses those consonant vowel sounds or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But over time, that on in it turned into on in it, or not even in that tone, right? It was more like ornament. It's more instead of, because he didn't like coming from the nasal. He even makes fun of his old music, called it nasally. So he's coming more from the throat now. It's like, my name, you know what I'm saying? So on here, on Renaissance, you hear that he's kind of getting back into that smoother, less forced delivery, okay? The cadence. From the production style to the vocal performance on this record, you can hear that he's got that whole thing in full swing. And he actually sounds really good, I'm going to be honest. And that's actually one of the other reasons that I haven't been gravitating to his music for the most part for the past decade, is because I feel like, I hate to say it, but the older that M has gotten, it's almost like he's become a little bit whiter. You know what I'm saying? He let go of the blonde hair. He's got this beard, and MGK said it was weird, and I still haven't grown all the way accustomed to seeing him with the beard. It just looks funny on him. But that's who he is. That's how he wants to look. It's not my place to dictate how he wants to present himself in the world. But I will say, I wouldn't even say, I guess I'm a casual Eminem fan at this point in my life, right? I don't seek out his music for the most part. This is the first album in a while that I actually made. Well, actually, I'm finna lie to y'all. I do listen to every album that comes out. I give it at least one spin to say, okay, where is he at currently? And then after that, I may leave it, right? But it's not like I'm sitting around or going out hanging with folks and we just bumping M like that. It's just not happening, right? So I wouldn't say that I'm an active listener. I'm a very passive Eminem listener at this point. I used to listen to him hard body when I was growing up. And he was actually a big influence in the way that I structure my bars, because I used to study his raps and his patterns and stuff like that. So there is still Eminem DNA in my music, but it's just been hard for me as a mature person to listen to his music, to be honest. But going back into the Renaissance record, you can see that he's going back and forth in this album between Eminem and the Slim Shady character, and I guess that's kind of like the distinction where you hear M and I hammer that drink down up in it versus the nasally Slim Shady, right? So you have that. Then also, and I have notes here that I'm reading from. You've got the concept in this album, which I think is paramount to point out. Basically, Slim Shady is taking over. Eminem is basically taken hostage, put with zip ties on him. Can't really do nothing. Eminem is basically in the driver's seat. Slim Shady's in the driver's seat. And all of the crazy shit in his mind that he's been holding back from saying basically gets to come out on this album, right? And Eminem, the artist, doesn't necessarily approve of these messages, and there's a back and forth that goes on in the album consistently, right? So this Renaissance basically just gives you that, right? Gives you, okay, Slim Shady is here. He done took over. Now, of course, there's certain lines in this record that have gone viral, but the line that stood out to me the most isn't the viral line. It was, I was irrelevant. As soon as I stopped giving a fuck, I started to celibate. Now, it's a simple bar, but it gives you a glimpse into the story of Eminem's career in a nutshell, right? Because going back to the beginning of Eminem's career, you go all the way back to 1996, he put out this album, or it wasn't 95, it was 95 or 96. He put out this album called Infinite, and Infinite was just him enjoying rap, putting together raps, and it was highly criticized. It wasn't very well known that it was even out there at the time, but for those that did get it, they felt like he sounded too much, like Nas and AZ. They felt like he lacked his own identity. He was biting off their rhyme schemes, and he was just another version of them, or more specifically, a white version of them. So this album didn't do that well. He didn't get discovered necessarily off of it. Some people did fuck with him, but he had a very small fan base. He sold it locally in Detroit and some other places, right? So then, a couple years later, he starts developing this Slim Shady character, the shock value rap, and it gave him the opportunity to say things that nobody else in the industry would have the gall or the audacity to say, because a lot of people, just have common sense and wouldn't think to say disrespectful shit about everybody in pop culture, right? So he used that as a superpower to get people to pay attention to him, right? So when he says, I was irrelevant, as soon as I stopped giving a fuck, I started to celibate, that's exactly what happened. When he was just showing off his display of skill and being a good rapper, he was irrelevant. But then he stopped giving a fuck, which is one of Slim Shady's taglines, I don't give a fuck. Even on the first album, I just don't give a fuck. That was the whole thing, which is one of the songs that put him on the map. He started to celibate, right? He started to sell records. He gained popularity, fame, notoriety, etc. And then, of course, stop giving a fuck, celibate. You stop giving fucks out, as in you stop giving up the cootie cat. You celibate, right? So that's the line that stood out the most to me, because it's like, y'all don't like Slim Shady no more, but this character is what y'all gravitated to. This is what became my claim to fame. This was my calling card. This is everything. You know what I mean? So what do you do when you get that stripped away from you, and the culture changes and the community changes and the standards change of what's okay to say and not say, and your whole career is built off of not going the safe route in that way, right? There's also the quote that's going viral where some people are saying that, or spreading a narrative that he dissed Kendrick Lamar. I think that's effing dumb. You know what I'm saying? There's, we got a generation of people that don't have any sort of knowledge or understanding or anything about how rap is or how rap works or whatever. So now we got people claiming that he's dissing Kendrick, which couldn't be further from the truth. But let's actually pull up the bars where he mentions them. How about that? Right? So M comes in and he says, now just travel inside the mind of a hater, because I don't see no fans. All I see is a bunch of complainers. Kendrick's album was cool, but it didn't have any bangers. Wayne's album or Ye's couldn't tell you which one was lamer. Joyner's album was corny. Shady's new shit is way worse. So I don't understand how you could listen to that full sequence and think he's dissing Kendrick Lamar when the first bar is him saying, let's travel inside the mind of a hater, right? He's letting you know from the jump, I'm jumping in the mind of a hater to see what their thoughts are. And then boom. And he says, I don't see nothing but a bunch of complainers, right? When I look around and I'm looking at people evaluating music, they're just a bunch of complainers. They don't take none of the art for what it is. They don't accept the music. They just critique. And I guess I may fall into that category as well, because I come on here and I tell y'all what I like and what I don't like. And a majority of the time, I hate to say it, I don't be liking a lot of shit. I've gotten bored. I think I'm at a point where I'm at maybe music and content overload. where I've heard and seen everything, right? As a fan of hip hop, as a devout fan of hip hop, it's almost nothing that's been said that I haven't heard, and it's just being repurposed and redone all over again. So yeah, it does get tough to continue being a fan, even though I love this culture with all my heart and every fabric of my soul. It's the only thing I grew up really knowing intensely other than sports, right? But then he goes on to say Kendrick's album was cool, but it didn't have any bangers. That is a real critique that a lot of people had from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That was even the reason why Drake was able to pull off that Heart Part 6 and try to put that line in there about Mother I Sober and all that different shit, not even interpreting what the hell he was listening to properly. But some people, especially his fans, were able to run with it and say, oh, Kendrick was taken advantage of as a child. And it's like, nigga, you didn't listen. His mother was investigating to see if he was lying because he was saying it never happened, which it never happened, right? But people's critique of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, for the most part, was that it didn't have a lot of big mainstream sounding singles. It was just really a body of work, which apparently doesn't seem to get as much love in hip hop today. But now that Kendrick is the king again, now that he's actually dismantled Drake in so many ways, that actual album has seen an abundant boost in listenership and fanhood and people coming out and saying they love it because they didn't give it an honest or a fair shot when it came out, right? And to even drive this point home further, there's actually evidence that Eminem loved Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, so it's no way that he possibly could have been dissing him because he took to Twitter when the album came out and said, yo, Dr. Dre, this Kendrick album is fucking ridiculous. I'm speechless. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up on the screen for just a moment and then we'll move forward, okay? So this is Eminem coming out talking to Dre about Kendrick. May 15th, 2022. There's no possible way he's dissing him when he came out and publicly made sure to let the world know he loves it. And it's my assumption that listening to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is actually part of the motivation for reprising the Slim Shady character. So on Worldwide Steppers, Kendrick, the song I'm a Killer, He's a Killer, She's a Killer Bitch, you know what I'm saying, that song, there's parts on it where he talks about being homophobic, what do you say, hetero and homophobic, right? So it's like, I'm not actually phobic of anyone, I just don't like nobody, right? And he calls out a lot of the hypocrisy in the society and stuff like that. And he talks about how everyone is a killer in some form or fashion. He said he never killed nobody with a gun, but he is participating in the slow killing of his family by inviting them to a family event, serving them fried chicken and all of this shit that eventually is going to catch up to them, clogging up their arteries and fucking up the organs in their body, and basically saying we all contribute to the death of each other in some form or fashion. That's just a quick synopsis of what gets said in the song. Of course, there's a lot more other shit in the record. Of course, on that album, there's also Auntie Diaries, where he talks about his gay aunt, who he identified as a man now. I don't know if she actually went and got the full transition done or if he was just identifying her as a stud where she was visibly presenting as a man and the community responded to her in jest in that way. And his other uncles basically hated on her, had shit to say. And his mom was just like, you know, they jealous of her because she get all the ladies anyway. All that type of shit, right? So I think Kendrick addressing these sort of, I wouldn't even say complex topics, but just controversial, nuanced topics in his album and being able to kind of get away with it and pull off an effective analysis of society in general, I think that challenged him to be like, damn, maybe I can, you know, try to reprise this character and try to address some of the same things in my own way. That's just how I see it, because Kendrick talked a lot about cancel culture on the album as well, which is something that Eminem definitely has a vendetta with, so much so that this album concept is Slim Shady coming back and deliberately getting Eminem canceled. Okay? So track 1, Renaissance, really ain't that long, but it was definitely a concept that, you know, it took me to a place to have a conversation about it, right? Now, with Habits, I feel like this is a song that we've heard from Eminem numerous times over. I'm almost kind of bored with this song. You know what I'm saying? Don't really like it. Don't care for it. The beat is cool. The rhymes, I mean, this is kind of like Eminem's word salad rap style that me personally, I've grown a little bit out of. He's an excellent lyricist. He's an excellent wordsmith. But we know that. But what I will say is the last 60 to 90 seconds on this song, the way he puts his words together, I was like, you got it, fam. Even if I don't like this record, that part right there, I was just like, yo, you got it, bro. You 50 years old and you can hold a conversation in rhyme format like that. You got it, bro. It don't even fucking matter what I got to say. Cause can't nobody else do it. And that's just a fact. Anybody else that wanted it or attempted to rap like that at any point in their career, they gave up. They stopped. So I gotta give him credit there. You know what I'm saying? Just being real. That last verse, that shit was crazy. But moving forward, we're not gonna stop for Habits. We're gonna keep going. So we've got the Trouble interlude where Slim basically forces Eminem to drink truth serum. This is also a callback to Eminem's 2004 album Curtain Call. If y'all remember the song Big Meanie, you're just jealous of me, you just can't do what I do. You know what I'm saying? You big weenie, big weenie. In that song, back then, he talked about taking a truth serum and then going off because he was like, that's what you want to think, is that I can't bust one, that I fucked up, ain't it? Because I could bust one take without looking at no paper. Doesn't take a bunch of takes for me to stand there in this booth, okay? For me to spit the truth, okay? You're drooling, you have tooth decay. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. And he started freestyling. But the concept of the truth serum, because he ended up, it's like, Marshall, please, sir, what am I on? You, sir, are on truth serum. Your brother's out. You want to gum or some shit like that, right? So I felt like that was a callback. And because he said, drink this. He's like, what am I drinking? And then he goes off and starts, I can't even use the word, starts going crazy. Right? Starts saying F blind people and all type of shit. You know what I mean? So then you go into Brand New Dance. I didn't care for this song at all. I don't like the beat. It takes me back to D12, my band type vibe. Takes me back to just lose it. So those songs I've never liked. You know what I'm saying? When I was young, they were catchy, they were cool, you know what I mean? To talk about among friends, because I was young, I was a kid. But in terms of actual musicality and just liking the records, no. I remember them, I know them damn near bar for bar because of the time period. But that's really a lot of the shit that I outgrew. Okay. Now I'm sure there's some people out there that are like super nostalgic that really like those cheesy songs that he made. It's just not for me. Okay. And if you can't tell by now with the stuff that I'm quoting and whatnot and coming off the top of the head, I'm not reading the lyrics off of my page. I'm just giving roundabout notes. Y'all can tell I listen to a lot of Eminem in my life for me to still know this shit. So this is a critique coming from someone who knows the music, right? Then we got Evil. Another song I'm not crazy about. This is another word salad rap. You know what I'm saying? That I just haven't wanted to hear. Me personally, I think I know I know my favorite album out of the saga, the legacy, is actually the Eminem show. So you can see how I'm in a different bracket of Eminem fans. A lot of people love the Slim Shady LP. The Marshall Mathers LP was like Slim Shady on steroids. But I actually liked M when he was trying to mature, and like that cadence and the rhyme scheme and the pattern that he had and the social commentary he was giving on that album while still being tongue in cheek and playful. I thought that that was a perfect album. You know what I'm saying? For what he was doing. But I think a lot of fans probably disagree with me, right? So I'm not coming back to that song. Then you get to Lucifer, okay? And at this point, when I saw he's got a song called Evil, Lucifer, and then the next one is Antichrist, it really put me in a position, and it's not even on no religious thing or no, you know what I'm saying? It's just the lack of creativity in terms of song titles. Evil, Lucifer, Antichrist, like you couldn't come up with better titles? Like what were you just like sitting around like, what could I call this song? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you could have done so much better. But that's just me in terms of song titles. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're nitpicking over song titles, bro." Yes, the fuck I am. Yes. Okay. But especially as a 50-year-old man, you know what I mean? Like, come on, dog. But anyway, it just feels like he was trying to push buttons, and I just feel like it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get people to listen either way. The lyrics are getting people to listen to the album anyway. The lyrics are spreading further than the actual music. You got Shade Room and all of the gossip channels actually sharing Eminem lyrics for people to go check it out. So you didn't need these whack titles. And same thing I said about Evil, I feel the same way about Lucifer, honestly. But I will say the second verse where he breaks down and addresses Candace Owens, I thought that was dope. That sequence there was dope. I actually pull up the lyrics going at Candace Owens, and I think he's responding to her because she tried to call him out last year because he didn't want his music being used in a political campaign. And because he didn't want his music used in the political campaign, Candace Owens came out and tried to call him, she tried to call him gay, and she wanted to criticize him because Eminem made sure that BMI reached out to, what was the name? Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever the fuck, Ramswamy. They reached out and said you can no longer license this music in the campaign. Okay? And Candace Owens, who's not even associated with the situation like that, just decided to jump in and criticize him. So he responded to her about that. And she tried to call him gay. But on his song, he goes into a whole spiel about her. So let's see. Where does it start at? So he says, and Candace, oh, I ain't mad at her. I ain't gonna throw the fact. Bitch forgot she was black back at her, because that's a big critique of Candace Owens, that she's like a white woman trapped in black girl body. And she's kind of mad at Black America because she was never accepted by us. So she does all of this right-wing Republican pandering and shit content, which we don't even know if she really believes that shit. She just found an audience. That's like an easy, low-hanging fruit for people that basically come from fucked up lives. They start leaning into that because it's an easy audience to manipulate and lean into foolish ideas. But getting back to his lyrics, he says, I have to, so, and Candace, oh, I ain't mad at her. I ain't gonna throw the fact bitch forgot she was black back at her, laugh at her like them crackers she's backing after her back is turned. So he's saying, I ain't gonna throw back the fact in your face that you forgot you're black, right? You out here pandering to white folks, and these same very white folks that you're pandering to laugh at you behind your back, right? When after her back is turned in a cute MAGA hat with her brand new White Lives Matter shirt, you know what I'm saying? Which he's leaning into this thing. I don't know if she's ever worn a White Lives Matter shirt, but I wouldn't be surprised. In a cute MAGA hat with her brand new White Lives Matter shirt, or say this MAGA dirt bag in a skirt, just opened the biggest can of worms on the whole planet Earth. Call her Grand Wizard or Clan. Wow. Call her Grand Wizard Clandis or Grand Dragon. So Grand Wizard, you know, like the clan, or call her Clandis instead of Candace, like she's a part of the, you know. Grand Dragon, I like the national anthem. I won't stand for the tramp. Okay, so I won't stand for her basically dissing me or whatever, like the national anthem. I won't stand for the tramp, but I can't diss her because my plans are to get in her pants and I'll blow my chance if I answer back to her. Right? So he basically saying, I ain't gonna diss you because if you let me slide up in that thing, I might take the chance. Matter of fact, I would like to. Which I don't really think he's trying to, you know, I don't think he's trying to publicly flirt with her in real life, but you know, that's always been an Eminem thing. You know, he always kind of disses the women that he wants to get with. Childish, but that's been his vibe. Right? But when I heard it, I was like, hey, that part is kind of dope. I mean, hey, nobody likes Candace Owens. Not even the people that like Candace Owens. Okay? Now, next up is the song Antichrist. Again, lazy title. But this is actually one of the better songs on the project in my personal opinion. It feels like an authentic throwback Eminem song in terms of production, rhyme patterns. He's not over rapping. He's in a good pocket. My fucking camera be wigging. He's in a good pocket. He's not over rhyming. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid record. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are some lyrics on here that have also gone viral, some controversial shit that we're going to go over. But just to the ear test, I will say that this one passes. You know what I mean? Now, the song does have people up in arms. It's going viral from mentioning Kanye and Kim Kardashian getting rid of Rage A. He brings up Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki getting together to SZA. You know what I'm saying? Which is also a double entendre because Megan, Nicki, SZA, the singer. Which again, this one here lets me know Eminem be watching a lot of different shit. He watches some shit that I wouldn't think he would watch. I feel like Eminem watched that goddamn Tasha K interview with Jaguar Wright. You know what I'm saying? Or was it Armand? It might have been Armand. Where Jaguar came out and came and said that she's seen or knows of the existence of a S tape with Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj getting together, scissoring and eating each other. Crazy shit. I don't think that ever happened, but I don't know what the fuck Jag got going on. But the fact that he said Megan and Nicki getting together to SZA, I'm like, he recently made that. He saw that fucking video. Interesting. Then of course in the second verse, he calls out the Diddy and Cassie situation, which I wasn't too thrilled about personally. I feel like there's multiple ways that you could diss Diddy or throw shots at Diddy. I mean, there's a ton of lawsuits. If you actually sat and just kind of read some of the accusations, really just go to the Lil Rod lawsuit, honestly, and pull something from there, I think he would have been in the safe zone. Now, I know he wants to push the envelope and push the button, but using Cassie's situation with the video out there, and we saw what happened to her, I'm you're not gonna make me say that that's okay, right? But given the overall theme of the album, where everybody is kind of getting it, everybody in pop culture is kind of getting a jab or a nod or I see what the fuck's going on over here. I understand, but I still don't fuck with that line. Now he did blank out Cassie's name. And we'll pull up the lyrics that he said in this particular song that everybody's going crazy about. So he talks about the PC police, the politically correct police are coming after him. I don't even know what the fuck the PC police are, but whatever. So in the first verse, he says, so they say they wish that I wasn't so angry. Yeah. Don't want to see me going off the deep end like yay, eh? Rather see me do like Kim Kardashian, they say, and find a way to get rid of all this rage, eh? But if you wonder why is Marsh considered the harshest spitter, cause I can spit a bar like it's a cross between Nas and Jizza, Biggie Smalls and RZA, so hard making the Stallion and Nicki Minaj a scissor, cut it out, is an ad lib. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And then you go to, whoa, I didn't even notice the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Wow. So then you'll get to the Diddy thing. Okay. So where am I going to start at with this? So he says, yeah, I'm sick like the terminally ill, but more like sick as in the term mentally ill. Antichrist, how come you can't be nice? Look who's talking, dog, like Brian from Family Guy, but who else is pitiless, actually witty and crass, hideous, ghastly, and insidious as me, or spitting is nasty. Next idiot asked me, getting his ass beat worse than Diddy did, and he blanks her name out. So I guess the next idiot that asks him why he can't be nice is getting their ass beat in so many words. But then he says, but on the real though, she probably ran out the room with his fucking dildo. He tried to field goal punter. She said to chill. No, now put it back in my ass and get the steel toe. So basically, he's insinuating that Cassie was smashing him in the with a and ran off with it, which is what caused him to implode. That we saw on the camera. Of course, he's just hypothetically speaking about the situation. Again, not you ain't have to do that. But I know there's a lot of people out there that are like rejoicing for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? It's on you. And I will say this. Diddy has been the subject of Eminem bars for a long time, since the 90s freestyles. When he said, I sprayed Puffy with mace. He been on his ass since the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's some other shit. He did some Biggie and Pac lyrics. He talked about walking through LA with red and blue on, looking for Pac's killers, all type of stuff, right? So it's not like this the first time or one of the first times. There's a long study of lyrics you could go through where he's mentioned Diddy or things associated with him, right? Even on the Marshall Mathers LP, he made a line. I won't even say a line, but part of a verse talking about Diddy and J-Lo where he said, sorry, Puff, but I don't give a fuck. If this chick was my own mother, I still fuck her with no rubber. In 9 months, I have a new son and new brother at the same time. And just say that it ain't mine. So he like, Diddy, hey, J-Lo, she fine, bro. I'd smash her if she was my mama. You know what I'm saying? Not some shit I would say. But I remember when that shit came out, I was a little kid. And with little kid ears, I thought that shit was the hardest thing in the world. You know? But again, he hasn't spared Diddy at no point in his career, right? Even on Kill Shot with going at MGK, he mentioned the hit that Diddy put out to get Tupac killed, which he mentions again on the very next song on this album, Fuel featuring Jid. He said he harkens back to that again. So he ain't never been in the business of sparing Diddy. You know, I just hate the fact that Cassie had to be collateral damage in the midst of it. That's my only thing. You know, I just feel like she didn't deserve it. And I also feel like because Eminem has such a big voice in hip hop, people are listening, people are flocking to this album. One of the reasons people are flocking to this album is because of that line. And I'm sure her phone is going crazy with people hitting her up to try to see how she's feeling about it, if she's heard it or telling her about it. I'm sure some people are probably not understanding boundaries with her and telling her to go check it out and hear what Eminem had to say. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think she wants to, I don't think she would want to relive that through his lens. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about the album. We're going to appreciate the art, but we're also going to critique and be honest and real and be humanistic about some of this shit. You know what I mean? That's who I am. That's what I do on my platform. If you don't like it, cool. So next up is Fuel featuring Jid. There's another song that I like. I was looking forward to hearing this one when I saw the track list come out and they said Jid was officially on there. I already figured he would be because, like I said before, Jid was in the last video. I was expecting Denzel Curry to show up. I was expecting Corday to show up. Other artists that he had been spending time with, but I guess either they didn't make the cut or maybe they'll come out on the deluxe version. I don't know if he has one in the works. But Jid absolutely bodied this shit. I honestly feel like he might have got M on this. And I know the diehard Eminem fans out there are going to be like, no, bro, there ain't no fucking way Jid out-rap Eminem. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Okay? And the reason I feel like he might have got him is not just because of the wordplay and the way the words are being put together, but what Jid actually had to say. Because I feel like a lot of Eminem's raps, he don't be rapping about shit. And Jid can kind of tap into the patterns that M does while still having something to say, something of value that you get out of his bars. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go through the lyrics of this one. I'm not doing lyrical breakdowns for everything, but this is the song that I was mostly looking forward to. So we're going to do this one. So Jid comes in, he says, all of my niggas gonna ride with it in the pocket, the rocket like Kelly mom. Mama told me the power was in the tongue, but it probably ain't powerful as a gun. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? So the power was in the tongue. Like we always talk about power in the tongue. Your words have meaning. Your words have power. They have dominion in this earth, depending on how you use them, especially if you use them with conviction and speak to the universe. But then there's also the adverse where you can speak negative things into your life and even death, right? But he say, but it probably ain't powerful as a gun, which is like in the real world, a gun is definitely more powerful than your tongue. It'll take you out quick. So he says, all of you little cowards get devoured. I'm giving out flowers to anyone. So all you little niggas can get ate up. I'm giving out flowers. I kill all you niggas. I dead you, right? I ain't been out the house in a minute because I ain't with it if the money is miniature. I've been minding my business. I'm business minded. I've been spending some time with the minister because them niggas spinning shit and still sinning in the city of God and it's sinister. Okay? So I ain't coming out the house if the money's miniature, so I ain't been out the house in a minute. I've been minding my business, but I'm business minded. Okay? I've been spending time with the minister trying to get right with God because them niggas is spinning shit and they still sinning in the city of God. Y'all know the City of God movie out there in Brazil. Niggas was getting popped like a motherfucker. And it's sinister. Try to pray and repent in a synagogue or a mosque, a temple, a church. Them brown skin seen many niggas hurting and murder's a common courtesy for certainly. R.I.P.D. on the shirt, search, lurk, murk, squirt, dirt first. 48. You know what I'm saying? So he's talking about, in this verse, he's talking about all the death and despair that's going on in the community, and he's been trying to find some sort of answer or resolution or way to find himself in peace, right? But in the midst of all of these syllables and stuff, you could get lost in it, but the nigga really talking some shit in here, right? My nigga doing 4+8 without a court date. Talked the other day, and he doing okay. He good. He gaining weight, then got a sharp shank. He made. He say they played, they got to partake. Right? So now he's talking about his homie who's locked in jail. He's doing 12 years without a court date, meaning he has no sights of an appeal. He talked to him the other day. He said he's doing okay. He's good, gaining some weight, but he got a sharp shank. You know what I'm saying? Because in jail, you gotta get your weight up. You can't be no slouch because niggas is gonna try you. It's a lot of different things that you may be confronted with on a day-to-day basis. He got a shank if he need it. Right? Homie got a heart full of hate and a face full of war paint. Eyes all red, full of rage, and it's hard to escape from a dark place. East side niggas from the A, niggas all ages, trying to sell a pound of the dog cage, that dog food. All the OGs round town was our age. The OGs wasn't OGs. OGs just earned that title from putting in work, right? Danger, sex, and drugs, X and R rated. Danger, sex, and drugs, shit be outrageous. But don't get this shit fucked up, my boy. You lucked up once, then you doubled up. I dribble it and pass it to the cup and triple double it. Get to the basket, get the cash and cuddle up. You know what I'm saying? Nigga be spitting, nigga. What the fuck? Cover up, bundle up, batter up. Talk a lot of smack and know how to not go back it up. Shout it, wanna shack it up. I could put a pussy on the platter like a platypus. Nappy hair, nigga, nat it up. I said barber, nigga, tat it up. I ain't arguing, nigga, mad as fuck, cause I ain't compatible. I'm finna catapult. But niggas know it's going down. Right? He's spitting on that motherfucker, man. And giving, and one thing Jed does really well is speak about the pain of his homies and family members in the midst of giving you really intense rhymes. Now, here's what Eminem has to say. He says, for a couple decades, been letting this tech spray from the day that I met Dre, so you liable to catch strays. From the second you press play, I suggest they do not test like an essay. Tough. It's a dope line. I've used a test essay punchline or two myself in life, So then he says, because like when my homies out west, we can just I'm like a R-A-P-E-R. Yeah, got so many S-A's. Wait, didn't he just spell the word rapper and leave out a P? Diddy? Right? So this is where he just starts saying shit, right? Like a, come on. So many S-A's, like a R-A-P-E-R. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But then he says, wait, didn't he just spell the word rapper and leave out a P Diddy? So basically he's talking about P Diddy's SA cases. And he said it in a very decoded way. Excuse me. Then he goes in to say, R.I.P., rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living. But I ain't trying to beef with him, as in Diddy. So he says, rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living. But I ain't trying to beef with Puff, because he might put out a hit on me like Keefy D did him. Like Keefy D did him. And that's the only way you're going to be killing me. Ain't going to be on no beat, silly. I beat the beat, silly, on the ground like teeth grit and call me obesity. Why? You think it's over? Wait, it's just beginning. Diss me and it ain't going to be pretty. Used to be yay tall when I grew a little each day till I became God, like James Todd. Now your arms are too short to beat K-Rod. Indeed, they small like DJ Paul. That's tough. But y'all can see the difference in the content and the lyrical depth of what they're actually saying, right? So he just kind of saying shit, right? But when he say became God like James Todd as in LL Cool J, became God as in became the GOAT. Now your arms are too short to beat K-Rod. And K-Rod, of course, Francisco Rodriguez. Your arms too short to beat K-Rod, of course. Anybody with the name Rodriguez, you think of a Hispanic person, which are typically short. Indeed, they small like DJ Paul, and we know DJ Paul got that short arm. So now he goes further. He says, my new Benz better than your truck by far. Bitch, suck my balls. You either smoke crack or you're playing stick ball in the street, because you must be on base if you're thinking you can touch my car. This is where I be losing, where he be losing me. You either smoke crack and you're playing stick ball in the street, because when you're playing stick ball in the street, you can use the cars as the bases to touch the car. And I get that, but it's just like, You forced that. But if the whole world was out to get you, I'd turn you to a powder keg too. Kyle Rittenhouse spitting rounds the tech shoots. And that ain't no sound effect, woo. Neither was that. Sig Sauer lets loose, and I don't condone violence at schools. But I can get these voices out my head. Hey, let's go 1, 2. They're putting words in my mouth like alphabet soup. That's kind of tough. Kind of corny, but kind of tough at the same time. Put words in my mouth like alphabet soup. Of course, you got the alphabet soup and the words, the letters. Tough. Got the most content on the continent. Where? And constant compliments give me confidence. I'm a cross the common sense and incompetent. I'm a cross between common sense and incompetence. Incognizant, the confluence or consequence of accomplishments that conference through competition. It's just words. If conquered, done conked them into unconsciousness. Through conscious, I conjured that. King Kong had just called me kamikaze. I'm gun cocked to this. This is why I say Jed got him. Nobody 16s are touching these motherfucking index fingers, fucking the Nina, clutching the 9mm, tucking the heat, got the toaster like an English muffin. No, I mean toast to like you drink something, but it's in a holster. I proceed to bust it, fuck around and get popped like Helena Hutchins, like I'm Alec Baldwin. What I mean is bucking you down, Coupe de Gradin, excuse me, right between the fucking. So of course, Helena Hutchins, Alec Baldwin, when he shot her with the real round on set. Right between the fucking, I shoot them all in. If you think you're fucking with me, if you're gonna suffer the fucking repercussions. The Reaper's coming, the heathen, and I need it from me. I keep replenishing fuel while the beat I'm punishing. So if you listen to the way M raps it, you might feel like, oh my God, he's snapping. But what the hell is he talking about? That's just me, though. It's just me. Next up, you got Road Rage. Not a fan of this one. He did take shots at Lizzo and says it's not over till Lizzo sings, which, of course, we know the old saying is not over till the fat lady sings. We all know that Lizzo is a very heavy woman. And then he goes into a whole spiel on this particular song about how society chooses to coddle fat people rather than, have them be proactive about losing weight, right? Basically, that's what he's going for, where you could eat less or get in the gym or all these different things. He's like, I guess y'all would just rather coddle these fat people. He also continues to address the trans community on this album, on this record. He did do a juvenile interpolation of the song Ha, where he says, oh, you want me to fucking chill and tone this shit down, huh? Which clearly he's not. I actually thought that part was cool, but overall I don't care for this song. Houdini, don't like this record. I don't care for the beat, the rap style. I don't like the Megan Thee Stallion shot at a feet line. If you want to hear me in my thoughts about Houdini, you could go back. I did a video about that before. Not a fan of it, right? In the sequence of the album, I understand it more because everybody can get it, but it's still a no for me, dog. Next up, Guilty Conscience 2. Now, if you remember the original Guilty Conscience from the Slim Shady LP, then of course you would understand that this concept is about being confronted with adverse situations. And then there's a positive solution, which was Dre. And then you got the negative solution, which was Slim Shady on the two corners, playing on the good and evil, the devil and the angel on your shoulder, basically giving you guidance on what to do. Right? Well, in this version, there is no Dre, number one, and there is no third party, because of course these were people in real life on the original that were encountering situations, and then Dre and M came up and was trying to guide them through what to do. In this particular instance, after Houdini goes off, there's a newscast that comes on basically saying that Eminem has successfully gotten himself canceled, right? So now with Guilty Conscience 2 coming in is basically like, what the fuck did you do? And now it's a conversation between Eminem and Slim Shady, and Eminem has the guilty conscience this time around. And he's having a conversation with Slim, who's like, fuck you. You ain't shit without me. You leaned into this persona and it got you all these riches and fame and got you adoration, notoriety. You're fucking rich off of leaning into the Slim Shady. You're nothing without me, right? Now, I did see some people out there that with the P Diddy lines, they were like, "Oh my God, he's shitting on Diddy, but he's not calling out Dre." And that's where I got to stop you, because anybody that ever heard the original Guilty Conscience song, he said it in front of the world. Why would I take advice from a dude who slapped D Barnes, right? So, boom, there you have it. He confronted Dre's history with DV on the first album. When he first came out, his first entry to the world, that Guilty Conscience was like the second mainstream Eminem song. And he called Dre out back then. And Dre had to eat it and take it and cash in on it at the same time. So, yeah. But that's why, you know, certain things, certain people that don't know, that are not up to speed with what really happened. You didn't listen to rap all that much. You didn't listen to the albums. Just kind of a casual spectator. Sometimes it's best to sit back and let some things unfold, especially if you don't know some of the simpler, more obvious things that actually happen, you know? But yeah, basically this song here is M and Slim going at it. And, you know, M is basically telling Slim, you've gotten out of hand. I thought you hated bullies. Now it's kind of like you've become one. And Slim is basically saying, fuck you again, because without me, all of this lifestyle that you've been afforded never happens. Excuse me. So, do I like the song? No, I'm not going to listen to it again. I'm not coming back to it. Is it a great concept and idea? Absolutely. But like much of Eminem's music, it's not something that I'm going to come back to. So next up, we've got Head Honcho featuring Easy Mill. Now, Easy Mill is M's latest protege signed to Shady Records. He's a Filipino-American rapper from, I believe, Vegas. And he raps in both English and his traditional native language. Okay? If you happen to go look up any songs from Easy Mill, you can easily tell that he's influenced by Eminem in his cadences, his patterns. He definitely listens to old Eminem. He even has a register where he goes into like a screaming type of rap style that harkens back to old Eminem. I'm so fucking tired of this goddamn camera. And on this song, I find it interesting that Easy Mill actually has two verses and the hook on this song, because I haven't seen a lot of records where the featured artist actually gets that much airtime, where they get to come in with a verse, with a hook, another verse, another hook, and then the actual primary artist comes in and finishes it out. So M definitely set the stage for Easy Mill to get that platform, to get that spotlight on him. He has been signed to Shady for about a year now. I think they may have done like a remix to one of Easy Mill's records within the last year or so. But he's now making an appearance on Eminem's album, which means that all of Eminem's fans, stans, and everyone alike are getting introduced to him. And I think he put on an actual pretty good show. Of course, there's parts in the verse where he does rap in his traditional native language that clearly most of us are not going to understand unless you're Filipino or study their language. But he was able to embody his complete self and do what he does, and that's his comfort zone. He does both. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people looking up Easy Mill if you haven't already, because again, he's on M's album. This fucking camera is killing me. This shit is getting out of hand, bruh. But nonetheless, yeah. Let's see, Eminem, or I should say Marshall, then comes out and closes out on the record, because I feel like this is the introduction of Marshall Mathers on the album, because in the previous record, Eminem ends up having a verbal struggle and then a physical struggle with Slim Shady. They end up wrestling on the floor trying to get to the gun. Eminem gets it and basically takes the coup de grace shot to end them both. So then Marshall Mathers comes in on Head Honcho, which the first line on this, he says, "You can call me Marshall," right? And on this song, or this verse rather, he comes out and he gives people a little bit of a history lesson on some of the things that he's been through. He talks about how he witnessed his uncle get stabbed when he was 5 years old, just going to try to retrieve his bike from somebody. So he had to witness that when he was 5.5. He got jumped by these two twin brothers, and he didn't fight back, because he's been very clear that he was like a very kind of peaceful child, but he was bullied a lot, which I think also played into him creating this Slim Shady character in his mind. Excuse me. And perhaps he just didn't know when he was going to be able to introduce it in rap form. But maybe that was just his outlet for those darker thoughts that he harbored within himself as a younger kid, because of the fact that he was bullied and living in a trailer park and poor, and his mom was addicted to drugs and all of the crazy shit that he witnessed in the midst of that. Again, so now when he became a rapper, he used all of that negativity as his superpower to then lean into controversy and cash in on it, right? Next up is Temporary featuring Skylar Grey. I don't like this song at all, but if you go back to the Marshall Mathers LP, you go back to the Eminem Show, to songs like My Dad's Gone Crazy, which is where we hear Haley, his daughter, voice on there. You go to Haley's song, you go to Mockingbird from Curtain Call, you hear that, those earlier albums had something dedicated to his daughter. Even Just the Two of Us on the Slim Shady LP, where he allegedly was gonna kill Kim and keep their daughter to himself, right? So there's always in those earlier Slim Shady albums been a dedication to Haley, right? And in this song, it's almost like an unaliving letter, type of thing. Think the sentiment of the song is cool, but again, not something I'm going to be listening to. Bad One, I could have lived without it. We're not going to talk about it. Toby, I liked. I did a whole video talking about Toby, breaking down the lyrics of that. You could go check that out on the channel. We're not going to get into that right now because we've already been talking for over an hour. After Toby goes off, we got the Guess Who's Back skit. We get the return of Ken Kniff, who was on those earlier Eminem albums. If you heard those early albums, you knew Ken Kniff, he was always going to say some wild shit, right? And then the album ends with Somebody Save Me featuring Jelly Roll. Now, this song actually felt like a genuine dedication to his kids. That other one, Temporary, I guess it was kind of I don't know what the purpose of it was, honestly. I guess that was the fakie, I guess. But this is actually the real song dedicated to his kids. And he apologizes for missing key moments in his daughter's lives due to his drug addiction and being fucked up and not being able to be functional in society or functional around other adults and, schoolmates, classmates, etc. And, just not being present like other parents. And of course, you got the Jelly Roll feature on there. Jelly Roll can relate because he had a strong drug addiction as well. He was incarcerated for some time as well. So he had a hard life and a hard struggle with sobriety also. So that collab made a lot of sense. And this one felt a lot more authentic. It felt a lot more real. And I could appreciate it. But again, this is not something I'm going to listen to. Now, when I think of this entire album, The Death of Slim Shady, What would I rate it? I think concept wise, I would give it an 7.58. Right? I think it's a really cool concept. After understanding and educating myself on how badly his core audience, his real fans, his day ones, and those that have come along the way that just love everything about him, wanted this album, I will salute him for feeding them what it is that they crave. That's a huge critique in all of art, is sometimes artists get so removed from their fans or get so consumed into what it is that they want to present that they don't listen to the audience at all. And he did that. He came and delivered what they were asking for. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but his fans were asking for it. Makes sense. Far as lyrical skill, ability, wordplay, I mean, it's off the fucking charts. I couldn't even put a 10 on it, right? In terms of just pure rapping craft. There's nobody that could fuck with him as far as the craft, as far as putting words together and just being the greatest at putting words together. It's not even fucking close, right? But where the album lacks is actual depth, actual subject matter that sticks to your ribs. And I'm not asking Eminem to become a conscious rapper. I don't think that's an area where he would comfortably sit. So don't fuck up my words in any way for that. But I just feel like, again, the Eminem show did a good job of balancing the Shady character with the times, right? With what was going on, with the draft that was happening or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That they were trying to, he was like, your ass to get drafted before me and all this type of stuff. He was at odds with with George Bush and all the motherfuckers. Like, I feel like that was a lot more depth and substance back then. I felt like that's what's missing on this album. He's calling people out. He's doing the tongue-in-cheek shit. He's making references to everything that's going on, but it's from more of a dark humor, comedic lens. But I think with his talent, with his ability, he could have taken some of that content and turned it into actual conversations. Like he tried to do that with the Lizzo thing about people being fat and not eating less and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Or doing a breakdown of Candace Owens. But Candace Owens ain't really important. She's a talking head, but she's not of actual grave importance. People don't really give a fuck about her. So I feel like in the content and substance department, it's like a 4. I know M fans are going to kill me for that, but fuck it. It's the truth. It's a 4. Right? Production, I will say the beats on this album are a lot better than some of the other beats that he's used over the past decade and some change. Although I wasn't crazy about the production, one of my biggest critiques of his other music is that it didn't feel Eminem-like. It felt like he was just getting beats from other producers and trying to Eminem them out in terms of his raps. But this was him getting back in the actual making beats. Louis Resto, who he collaborated with on those early albums on the production, some of the violins and the orchestral pieces and some of the keys that you hear on the album definitely give you that early to mid 2000s Eminem production feel. So I like that he kind of went into that space, and because that's another thing that I have been kind of requesting. I'm like, dog, there's so many niggas on YouTube that can make Eminem type beats that you would body. But you've abandoned your sound. So I will give him points on that. I feel like the production, I'll give it a 6 because Eminem's production ain't never been great, but it was befitting of him, right? So when I say 6, that's based on his production versus the rest of hip hop. But when it comes to Eminem production for Eminem the artist, I think he knocked it out the park. I would give it like a 9 if it's based just on him. If he exists in an island by himself, yeah. then it works. So overall, I feel like this album for me is probably a 6.5 because the rapping makes up for a lot of its flaws. The wordplay, the nostalgia of the Slim Shady character, the nostalgia of the Slim Shady, you know, the voice and cadence that people were used to, and he actually delivered that in some elements. It makes up for areas that the album lacks. So I say a 6.5. Now, again, I'm a harsh critic. Admittedly, I'm a harsh critic. But that's how I'm taking it. And I said, if you were just going off lyrics and words, it's out of this fucking world. It's like a 20. But nobody judges music just based off of the words or the way that words are being strung together. Nobody does that. Nobody evaluates based on that. So we're not going to change the standard because he's Eminem. No, fuck that. Okay? I know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me, especially his diehards, and that's okay. And, you know, I'll address some in the comments, but we're not going to spend too much time on that neither because I said what I said and that's how I feel, and you're going to say what you say and it's going to be how you feel, and neither of us are going to be moved on that at the end of the day, so we're not going to do no arguing too much. But that's where we at. That's my assessment. Shout out to Eminem. As far as putting words together, you are the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? You got that. When it comes to the full bag of tricks when it comes to being a rapper, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe top 15, right? For me. I know some people are going to be mad at that, but whatever. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. If you hate me, take your ass on. Much love and respect. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest, but drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no gunner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.